This is my room right now in Germany where I'm currently living. As you can see, it's very bright and I'm really thankful that I have this huge window here. I have this little table that I don't really use and this armchair that I don't really use as well. Then my yoga mat. Here is a little cupboard where I have basically my clothes. You can see I have some cotton bags there, tote bags, and this is my backpack when I'm traveling. A couple of books. Here is the inside of my cupboard. Yes, not many stuff as you can see. Well, not many. I mean, I could do better. I feel like I could still have less things in there. Basically, as I came, I only had one luggage and clothes for 6 months, so I just took all of my clothes and put them in those very handy bags. Yeah, that's how I keep it simple and really tidy. I was inspired by a close friend of mine. Her name is Juliet. Juliet, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for inspiring me and getting me on the path of minimalism. I am so thankful I discovered this lifestyle. So yeah, about a couple of months ago, I met this wonderful friend, and basically her and another friend of mine, their goal was to have less than 100 items, less than 100 objects, yeah, so in their whole life, so that way they would be, you know, very light. They wouldn't have a burden to carry all the time with them, and when you're traveling you can just go from one day to another and leave without having to pack so many things. So in that way you kind of feel really free, because you are not attached to things. And yes, I was very inspired by these friends, and a couple of months ago I moved here in Germany for an internship, and I was kind of forced to just bring one luggage for 6 months because my parents were taking me here with their car. So I just focused on what was essential to me. I asked myself, what do I need the most for about 6 months, knowing that I was going to be here through the summer. So, but I came by the end of the winter. So I had, you know, to be, to have quite a diversified dressing closet. And I think that's where minimalism begins. Basically, you kind of have to be in a mindset where you start asking yourself what is essential in your life. You have to kind of question and put into perspective your habits and your lifestyle, the items that you possess, and to kind of find what link do you have, what kind of attachment do you have to this, with those objects. Is it an emotional link, an emotional bond? Is it more materialistic? Is it like a practical kind of link because you feel like you need some objects because they are useful in your life? This summer I went and traveled in the United States for 3 weeks, and I had that goal of bringing with me just one backpack. In this backpack I should have the most basic things I would need for about 3 weeks. And as I came back, I noticed that in reality I had used about 2/3 of the items, clothes I brought with me. And that's where I think at that point it really clicked in my head. I noticed that I didn't need as many things as I thought I did. From the point I discovered about veganism until now, it opened so many doors in my life and so many possibilities and new perspectives. How to consider my whole life, the things that I had, what was my relationship with these objects, and progressively I started noticing that I wanted to care more about moments and not things. There's that quote that I find really inspiring that says, collect moments or experiences, not things. And that was very meaningful for me. It just made sense because ever since I was little, I have always been someone who's very sensorial. So I just use all my senses all the time. I love to touch, I love to smell, I love to see bright colors and contrasts. I love the sounds when I walk in a forest or when I'm lost in the middle of nowhere between mountains. And then as I was growing through veganism and zero waste, I realized that I had too much makeup, too many clothes, and I started asking myself, why do I keep so many things? Do I use them all? Do I use them all the time? Do I keep them because I have an emotional relationship with them, because someone gave them to me? Or do I keep them just out of convenience? You always have this dilemma in your head and you're like, oh, maybe I might need this in a couple of days or a month. You're like, you never know, you might need it at some point, and that's how you get stuck with things, with possessions. Another tip could be to identify the source of items that you have the most. So by this I mean, what are the things that you have in the biggest quantity? Is it clothes? Is it makeup? Is it electronic devices? Is it, I don't know, some bags? And then when you start noticing how many things you have for each category, you can try and start reduce. You start with one source of items and then you move to the next one. You also have to ask yourself, for example, with clothing, is it a color that I like? Is it a color that I feel comfortable with? That, you know, a color that reflects the most who I am? You also have to ask yourself, think about the materials of your clothes. Is it something that you feel comfortable in? Is it soft for your skin? At first it might be very hard because, you know, we live in a society where you've been conditioned to buy and to consume. So anywhere you go, you will receive incentives to buy and buy and buy all the time. If you turn on the TV, if you turn on your computer, there's advertisement everywhere. And these clever industries just achieved to spot really what you crave the most. So they identify the kind of items that you buy the most, the kind of items that you look for on the web, so that then they can send you incentives to buy those objects. I think we are not the things we own. We are not the things we buy. We are just a soul in a body that's experiencing life on earth. But when you will be buried underneath the earth, you won't be buried with your money, you won't be buried with the things that you had in your life. You won't be buried with your car or with your computer or your phone. And that's what kind of makes you very humble when you think about this. And then you start questioning what is it and what is essential in life. And I've realized since a long time that the most essential things don't have a price. Love and happiness and self-confidence, compassion, respect, memories, the memories that you gather, those make who you really are, and the adult that you became, the person you are, with so many different aspects. And there's also this quote that I really like, that is less is more, and I really started truly to experience this quote as I moved on deeper and deeper in this minimalistic journey. So the less things I started having, the more I cared about concrete, tangible things that truly mattered. From my personal experience, I started caring more about veganism and activism, trying to help people, inform people about the animal condition on this planet, about the impact of animal exploitation on our planet, on our oceans, and how it also affects our health. I started caring more about my family and wanting to spend more valuable, qualitative time with family and friends. I started really identifying my needs, my true needs and desires and dreams. What were my goals? I love traveling, I love hiking, I love camping, I love being fully lost and just surrounded by nature and being able to connect with what surrounds me. Being able to connect with all the different elements: fire, earth, water, wind. I also felt very free and, I don't know, really independent, and in a way that I didn't depend on items, objects. When I first traveled this summer with one backpack, and that was it, because from one day to another day I could move to another place without having to worry about packing so many things and, you know, wasting time. So that's one other point about minimalism. You spend more qualitative time so that you don't waste as much time on things that are not essential, things that are superficial. So the more you start focusing on what matters to you, on what your soul and your being really needs, desires, the less time you will waste on superficial and not valuable things. So I hope this all makes sense to you. Please don't hesitate to ask me any question if I missed some points, and also I will try and link you different inspirations down below in the description box. And I think the next video I will try to make will be about my zero waste journey. But yes, if you are on a minimalistic journey, I will be very happy to learn about your story and how you get to that point. If you find it hard sometime, and if you get like old bad cravings about buying things that you now consider to be unnecessary. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you, and please comment down below if you have any question. And don't hesitate to support me as well through my PayPal link. You know, €1, $1 is already a lot to me. I'm trying to bring as much content as I can on this channel to help people toward a new lifestyle that is more compassionate, respectful of our earth, and more fulfilling for ourselves. Thanks for watching.